And we will continue our availabilities with Kyle Busch, driver of the number 18 Snickers Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Kyle, can you talk to us a little bit about preparation for this weekend?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not much.
All right, we'll open it up for questions. We'll start down here with Jeff and then go to Tucker.
What can your past history at this place, what can you use? I mean, is it so long ago that it's irrelevant? Can you remember going around the track, like muscle memory enough that it's helpful here, or is it not helpful at all?
I mean, your visuals and your frame of reference, I feel like, you know, the inside white line and the curbing and stuff like that doesn't seem like it's changed much. So obviously being able to remember some of that once you get out there. But I mean, besides that, the way the cars drive, the way the cars are is irrelevant, not even close to the same as what those 2005, 6, and 2009 Xfinity cars were when I ran here. So I think those are the 3 years I ran here. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's going to be similar.
Do you remember those races well?
I remember winning in 09, but 05, 06, I do not remember.
We'll go to Tucker and then to Bob.
Tucker White, last word on sports. Kyle, 2 weeks ago we ran the All-Star race, which was rather lackluster. And in light of the success with the Clash at the Coliseum, what should be done with the All-Star race?
I don't know. An off weekend? Seriously? We have one this year, so I don't know if it's just the way the calendar works, leap year, whatever, but you know, having an off week would be nice. We've done, this question was asked last week, and my response was that we've done enough with the All-Star race in years past that we're now, every race is an All-Star race. Stages started in All-Star race. Double wide restarts started in the All-Star race. Other things started in the All-Star race. So, you know, we now have that in our everyday racing on every single weekend. So it's not that it's different. It's just that you're racing for $1 million in that one particular race. But honestly, I think second place takes home what a regular Xfinity win is throughout the Xfinity season. So it's quite a financial jump. But yeah, so I think I went too far there.
We'll go to Bob.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. 3 months into the next-gen car, what's been maybe the most pleasant surprise and what's been the biggest frustration?
I'll start with the biggest frustration. I think passing traffic. This car is worse in traffic than the previous car. I feel like all the underbody stuff is not at all what we anticipated it to be. Cars drive fine. They're good. The pleasant part of it is they drive good by themselves when you have full air. But if what we were striving to do was to better cars in traffic, we did not do that. So that's kind of been, I feel like, the biggest struggle in myself and around our team is some of that. So, you know, what do you do to fix that? I don't know. I think there's a Martinsville test in the next week or two, and I've been highly politicking to just take all the underbody off and let us go make a couple runs with that and see what we can figure out with that. Would also save the team owners a heck of a lot of money if we just trashed all those components and went on without them from here on out. Wouldn't hurt my feelings. I said that already. Did you not hear me? You just dwelled all on the negative and not any of the positive? I said the car drives good and it drives fine, surprisingly, by itself. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In one ear, out the other. I got it.
We'll come down here to Lee, to your right.
I'll stay with positivity. The one thing the new car has done, though, is it seems to have made the intermediate tracks more competitive. Have you noticed that behind the wheel as well? I mean, visually to us in the stands, that's what it looks like. It's the last 3 races were pretty damn sporty.
On mile and a half stuff? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been the good guys. The guys that are good can come through traffic better than the other guys that are mediocre, or the other guys that aren't very good can't come through traffic, right? So I guess, when you're frustrated that you can't come through traffic, you need to get your stuff better, but you can't really do that throughout a race. It's hard to change enough on those cars to make a big enough difference in the event, while in the event. So I guess to me, yeah, I won't argue that fact. Fortunately, we could have, should have won Vegas, could have, should have won Kansas. The Toyota car did win Kansas. We were fast up front at Charlotte, and then when we spun, again, the underbody, we killed the underbody, and so the car was terrible the whole rest of the day, all because of a spin. And so I don't know that that's spinning while leading, battling for the lead, to stay in the lead in order to be able to have a potential to win a stage. Like people would say, well, why didn't you just concede the position? Because there's stage points on the line in another 30 laps or so. So, it's just a matter of trying hard and trying to drive the thing. And, sometimes they step out from under you, and you'd like to not have to pay such a huge penalty.
You mentioned Martinsville, and I asked your brother about it. Would tires make a difference if we had more fall off on these tires for the short tracks?
Yes, I believe that tires, being the name of the game, that's the first thing that touches the pavement, is very important. And again, I've been slated to do the Martinsville test, so I hope I can do my due diligence and do my job to help with that product and make that what it needs to be. But I also need help around me with the other decision makers in our industry to listen to input and be able to utilize that input to understand what will make a good race.
And finally, they're replacing the carousel with a chute, or returning to the chute at Sonoma. What are your thoughts on that? Will it help improve the speed of the race, as far as, it won't be as much of a time suck?
Yeah, I guess I've never even looked into that. Did we run the same amount of laps and the lap times were longer?
Ran more with the chute than the carousel.
More laps?
Yeah.
Right, because they did the time stamp, right? So I don't know that the timing is going to be much different, but this car is faster on the road courses anyways, because it has more grip. It is a more central built race car, meaning it's not built just to go left. So I don't think the race will be any much longer, unless it's just, well, it should be. All the cars are the same, right? So it should be more competitive. Just a matter of who runs over who. If we look like the local go-kart track, or if we look like professionals, that'll determine the race length.
We'll go to Jeff and then over to Dustin.
Kurt was saying that this is probably a Phoenix-ish type setup, or if comparable. Toyota's struggled at Phoenix. Are you worried that that could carry over to here? And do you feel like you guys have solved what was ailing you there?
I don't know. You could kind of compare Phoenix, Richmond, Loudon, Gateway, as those all kind of fit in the same family. Loudon and Gateway for sure, I think, are really close. Phoenix, really close. Just places that are harder to pass. Like Aero means more being out front, clean air, getting to the bottom of the racetrack, line wrapping the curbs, all that sort. Here, there's curbs here, rumble strips, whatever. But Phoenix and stuff is kind of more open. But with the aero deficiencies that I discussed earlier, with the Martinsville not being great, Phoenix for us wasn't great. Am I looking forward to this weekend? Probably not. That's the short answer. But I do feel like we've learned more, and hopefully enough, about this car that we're better this weekend.
And we'll go over to Dustin. And then we'll wrap up with Reed.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Kyle, you're one of 8 drivers within 7 points of the leader in terms of playoff points. Top guy's got 13, you've got 6. Typically, even at this point in the season, we've seen years where there's been a bigger gap. And I'm curious, with this up and down season that everybody's had and the playoff points being bunched, is that something among the many things that you start to focus on? I know there's still a lot of time before the end of the regular season, but how much does that start to play into or already has that because of how close and jumbled things are at this point?
Yeah, I mean, my answer to that, or my mindset to that, would be, you want to create some separation for yourself amongst the rest of your competitors. So that obviously betters you throughout the playoffs with everybody being so close together and keeping it sort of bunched up. And with the season being, as you called, unpredictable, up and down for everybody, the playoffs could be that exact same way, where there's just way more unknowns, right? Was it Gluck who a few weeks ago asked, who's your championship favorite right now? And we were all like, who knows? So I feel like you're still at that point. I would say the Gibbs guys have been fast at the 1.5 miles. I would say the Trackhouse guys have been fast about everywhere. And the Phoenix style track, we struggled. I think the Penske guys were a bit better. There was an SHR car that won that race, but I don't even know where to go. But certainly playoff points are always on everybody's minds. Again, that was on my mind last week in the first stage, trying to win that first stage to get that playoff point, knowing how important those are going to be when it comes time.
We'll take a last question from Reed.
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire. Kurt was saying earlier that he thought Brexton was understaffed a little bit up at Tri-Cities, and he's coming up to help. Is that a good thing?
No. No. Too many cooks in the kitchen. You need one chief and the rest Indians. No, it's yes. I have one guy that does our program, and we race junior sprints, outlaw carts, quarter midgets. Now I'm adding a micro to that, so we've got a lot going on. And I beat on Aaron a little bit, just to the fact of like, let's get some stuff done. Let's get the cars built. They should be sitting there ready to go. And he's like, in what time? So but my dad's there. I really don't know what my dad does. I think he creates more chaos than he helps sometimes, and so he's a little difficult, as you can imagine. But do I need another guy? Yes, I do need another guy. So if anybody's out there that's looking, I do need another guy. Now, this job doesn't pay great, right? It's Brexton Busch who's paying you, so he doesn't have a whole lot of income right now. He's working on it, but we're working hard. So yeah, Kurt's coming, which is great. Get a little bit of help from the uncle. He can about set air pressures, so I just got to tell him what I want.
All right. Thanks for your time, Kyle. Good luck this weekend.